Hey guys, before I roll with the video tonight, I do apologise. That's probably a bit under par to what I would normally put out. Today's been a little bit of a challenging day, so I just want to say apologies for the lack of insight I put into the video, but I hope you guys enjoy it anyway. Again, that's life on the spectrum. But anyway, I hope you enjoy, so let's roll the tape. Welcome back to another episode of Rolling with the Spectrum. Just there. This is a bit different. I'm doing a two-part series on what I like to call the autism iceberg theory. So tier 1 of the iceberg is what people can see, or their perspective of autism, the pointy bit. And then the bit underneath will be the second episode, tier 2, of what autism actually is and incorporates. So please sit back, get a coffee, and watch this episode of tier 1 of the autism iceberg on Rolling with the Spectrum. So, what are some of the perspectives from the general public in how someone with autism should look, sound, feel, and act when they're out with friends, family, school, work, whatever? So, number one, look, who here has had that person, once you said you're autistic, or said your kid's autistic, and they've come up to you and they've said, doesn't look autistic. So that's one perception that the public have, is autism has to have a look. We know that that's wrong, okay? That's not a thing. Autism comes in many ways, as we're going to find out. They see a disobedient kid having a meltdown in the shop, aka a tantrum. What is it? What people don't know is that kid isn't doing anything wrong. It's his or her sensory overload in their brain who can't function when they are out in public. And it's just fight or flight, and unfortunately flight kicks in. Another perception is that your kids or you as an autistic person can't make friends. We all know that there is a communication barrier sometimes with autistic people, but the general public or the general population perceive that as them not making friends, or actually keeping and holding down friends. That's not necessarily true. However, some friends do get a little bit taken back when the child has a meltdown and gets a little bit of scared or a little bit of fright, and takes them a little bit while to get used to. But once they get used to it, I think kids are more open to the fact that other kids are that way, as opposed to adults who are not on the spectrum. So, yep, holding down friends is another one. What's another one? That they're all geniuses. No, people learn at different levels, just like neurotypical people. They may be savant with some areas in life, and some areas they may not be so good. Some areas they may exceed, other areas they might not. So this is another misconception, that they're all geniuses like the Rain Man. And that's another thing. They all think autism is like the Rain Man, the Good Doctor. You know, there's different levels, different variants. That's why it is a spectrum, because not everyone is the same. So what we covered so far, we covered looks, holding down friends, being geniuses. So obviously, what else is there? There's heaps we can unpack here. Another one is, the meltdowns, which is a neurological response, physiological response in the brain from the fight or flight. The amygdala in it, correct me if I'm wrong. Hey? Amygdala. And that's the bit of your brain, a little bit, the old lizard brain as they call it. So there's that aspect of it too. The list goes on. Let's have another look. favourite one of mine is people think they're lazy. They're not lazy. It's like I said, it's one of those another amygdala episodes where doing that chore may put them at risk of being attacked by a saber-toothed tiger. So when they sit there and their water bottle's right in front of them and they ask you who's 3 meters away from them to get it, that's the reason why. It's not because they're lazy and they just can't go, right, I'll grab that and drink it. You got to remember, in their brain, if they move from where they are, they're a sitting duck. They're a target for that saber-toothed tiger to come in and rip their brains out. Obviously not the case now in this day and age because there's no such thing as saber-toothed tigers unless you go to a museum. But you got to remember the steps it takes for these kids or these people with autism to go get that drink. For example, if I'm sitting on the couch and I want to go get my drink bottle in the fridge, to neurotypical people, that's just a matter of getting up, going to the fridge, drinking it, shut the fridge door, sitting back down. And you don't even question it. To these kids or these people with autism, it's a whole process that could get them really, really overwhelmed by the process of, I have to get up, I have to walk, so what's that, it's 2, I have to go to the fridge, I have to open the fridge door, get the water, drink the water, put the water bottle back, shut the fridge door, walk back to the lounge room and sit down. That's 10 steps for them that they have to compute to get, where a neurotypical person won't see it as steps. They'll see it as there and back. For these poor kids on the spectrum, they see this as a massive task. So there's no wonder they ask you to do things, because in their brain they're processing how to do it, when it's just easy to ask someone who knows what to do, i.e. a parent. So yeah, that's another one. We'll cover off on a couple more. Okay, we're taking recordings outside while little one has her couple of crackers on the thingo floor, but we got these guys. So we go back to our childhood. Let's do it. You ready? Little bastards. But anyway, let's finish the video off outside with a lovely backdrop. I call it hedgy. The hedge. We use the hedge as the microphone. Hello. Nom, nom. No, so honourable mentions for this. Oh, I don't know. I am trying to bring you some content here, but today has just been testing for a few reasons. Being school holidays, trying to entertain and stuff. But let's just finish off stuff the honourable mentions with the hardest part of what people see in autism, and one that gets most parents caught off guard. Oh, there's neighbours, they're coming through without trying to run the ducks over. No, the big one that gets, I think, most parents with having kids on the spectrum is your child's behaviour isn't anything to do with your parenting style or parenting at all, you know. But unfortunate for us, people in society, they don't see it that way. They just see a kid having a meltdown, this kid not wanting to talk to people, doing their stimming. That's another one, honourable mention for the stimming. You know, stimming in public. All these things. Or even wearing headphones in the shopping centres. You know, parents are just getting torn to shreds by the general public, just through lack of not knowing, lack of awareness. Hence I'm doing this sort of Iceberg tear moment during Autism Awareness Month, just to raise that awareness to other people who may not be or know anyone on the spectrum. Oh, so I'm in there still? Yeah, check it inside. You know, and I think it's the parents that get forgotten about also. I don't know. Oh, I can't remember what the new autism thing is that's coming into play. The one that's hand in hand with that other shit. Yeah, like I said, it's been a long day, so apologies, I can't get anything right at the moment. But anyway, Autism WA put out a chase them, just run. Have put out a thing on a survey on Instagram to have your say for the new autistic strategic planning, I think it is. If I can find the link, we'll drop it in the description for those of you who are in Western Australia that can do the survey and just have your say. Don't be quiet about it. Be boisterous. Squeaky wheel gets the oil, so to speak. So yeah, that's all I've really got to say for tier 1 of the iceberg on what people perceive people with autism as, or parents raising kids on the spectrum like. So remember, you guys are doing a brilliant job out there as parents, raising kids on the spectrum. You guys yourselves who are on the spectrum are doing a bang up job out there in society, just killing it every day. So don't let the neurotypicals get you down, because you guys have got this. You're strong-willed, and your resiliency is to die for. So, without any further ado, thanks for listening. If you got this far, hit a like, hit subscribe. And I've got one more thing to say with my sign off, and it's
peace, love and autism. Woo!
peace, love and autism.